can't hear anybody.
Jump in, explore, and get to the top. And join our chat show.
Oh God. Who gave that guy the mic?
How do I turn off? Oh, what? Who?
Oh, just you press the other move button, I believe.
Wait, hold on. I can't figure out how to fly again. Wait till we get up here. I got dibs on all the glaze. I want the glaze. How do you fly again? They look delicious, don't they? We need to go back down, and we need to get stuff sorted.
Cannon
Drop,
down.
GT. I don't know about all that. Let's go, man. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Why are we going back down? I'm just going up.
Hold your hand up and hold the move button, and you'll see like a little meter pop up. Yeah. Now.
Who's flying? How are you flying?
Again, and you'll fly really fast.
How's this?
You hold your hand up and hold the move button, and you'll see a circle fill up. Hold the move button.
Flying?
Okay.
Come back down, preach.
What the?
What?
He's like, how do you stop flying? Yo, you can fly faster, preach. Do it again, like reset it and do it again. Like hold your hand higher and
So when are they gonna start talking about stuff?
As soon as we look at Shug.
Woo! So we getting on with this, or what's going on? What's the plan? Petster, what's up? We are just waiting for the show to get started here. The boys who hosted this shit made a custom room for the To The Top developers. So it's basically a rec room to the top. But right now I'm trying to figure out how to...
Jason,
I'm
just gonna ring him.
Okay. Yeah,
is there a quick way to get down?
Nobody started yet, right? Nobody started?
No, not yet.
Yo, I said this. I was talking about the PSVR Chat Show like 50 to 100 times on the last stream I did, and the guys were real cool about it. It was really funny. They're like, "So what time again?"
You.
It's so funny, dude.
There he is.
Ah, crap. Look at this.
GC. Yo, GC.
What's up, man? What's up? Okay, my man. How's it going? Ryan, how you doing, bud?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much.
Is there...
Am I late?
I guess Shadowland's crazy.
No, we haven't started yet.
Everyone's
just kind of doing their own thing. He can't get in. It's not letting him download the update.
Is there a fast way to get down?
I had to restart my PS4 to let it down.
So
how was Viking Days for Ryan?
Dude, I don't even hate that game. That's the stupid thing. But
I like it.
I know, but it's.
I think Dave said it was trash, right?
Yeah,
he's not making it, by the way.
Your guy looked depressed there for a second.
Yeah, he's not going to make it.
What is up?
Well, then he can't count my Viking Days review I'm going to put out there. Look, it's not like amazing. It's so basic, but it's kind of addicting. Like it gets harder and harder and harder.
Tell me. Do you get the feeling
you still haven't done all your orientation stuff, huh?
Viking Days?
Yeah.
No. I played Day 27. Day 27, and I capped out because I can't. The throwing in the game is awful. So when you get to those axe throwing competitions, like I can't do it, man. Max.
What's up? God, Karen. What's up,
Big Head, what is up?
What's up, motherfucker?
Oh, I'm gonna go check out that.
We're just waiting for the show to start here, boys.
You're here this time.
We're getting the gang together.
Oh, is he back online?
I think we are.
Hey.
But he's not in the rec room now.
How do I get this thing to work?
Oh, yeah, we initiated. Oh, sorry.
How do I get it to work?
You can't see it, but there's a box here that initiates him coming up. We start walking up here.
You break it, you bought it.
I gotta platinum this level real quick. Give me a second.
Oh, Armady's the top to the top guy.
Cannon, put your smooth movement on, dude.
Join our chat show.
Yeah, I guess, Dave.
He's where he belongs.
That is so cool that you can literally record holograms.
At the top.
Yeah, it's easy. You just push the button and it does it.
Yeah, it's
like
the
that,
easiest
nothing.
thing in Rec Room.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing. Designing this was a nightmare, but that's the easiest thing. Is something that technical.
That's so cool, though.
Jason, you
something
really
so simple just blows my mind.
With this,
Shaggy.
Well, part we had when Bob Jim
What's up, brother?
had the really good creative ideas too. He did a centipede and the
no
arcade.
But that's what we're going to talk about today, probably.
Preachy.
Dave, this room is awesome, man. You should look at this. Look at this.
Oh yeah, he needs to play Firewall.
They're just killing it. And there's our stage up top there. So what's the
suck, dude?
So what's the plan?
He needs to play.
Awesome.
So guys, I got subs coming in. What's the plan here? Are we
I know
starting
he's
this
busy
up?
with the baby thing.
Yeah.
So we need to play with him soon.
Yeah. I don't
We're
think
gonna have
his
to
baby
start
knows how
without
to
him,
shoot
dude.
Jason and
Well, what time is it?
one of the other guys that I can't remember his
it's
name.
Already 11
Right,
That
anyway,
guy right there, I
so
believe.
let's get everyone
Yeah.
in the booths, yeah?
yet. Hang on. Are we streaming now?
And the booths.
I am.
Yeah, basically.
He wants to
basically-
introduce you like old show style, like old 70s
Yeah,
show
yeah.
style.
So
Like,
the
what-
booths are here.
I'm gonna go in this
Basically, if you want to go in each booth, and what I'm going to do, from my point of view, I'm going to come across sideways.
Hey guys, we're just setting
with a
up here.
crowd cheering.
Ryan, you want
And
to
all
come
you
in
gotta
my
do is just
booth?
keep waving, yeah?
That's so
That's
hot,
it.
Shug. I'm here.
And then we're going to
Yes.
So wait.
Okay.
So wait.
Tomorrow we got to game it, by the way.
I was in here first.
I know, that's the plan.
He said you had to
Good,
share.
good.
We do? Okay, cool. Never mind.
No, there's room for everybody around
Is that
here
cool?
right now. Yeah, there's one for everybody around here.
I'll go
Oh,
another
there's
one.
one for everyone,
No, we've
man.
been sectioned off. We're just setting up here, guys. It's coming here right away, so
there
once we
isn't.
get all organized,
We'd have to go
trying
back in
to
the one you were in,
mitigate
Preach.
chaos from the first episode.
Wait, there's another one?
Work in progress.
Yep.
Nobody
Go
is
that
cool.
What you at, Preach?
Right, so who's streaming already? Are you streaming?
I just started streaming, yeah.
I am streaming as well.
Oh,
Dipped
cool.
in my stash, Preach.
So yeah, if you guys
it's
comment,
already gone.
I can try to maybe respond to address your comments, but it'll be really hard to respond to you.
Now I'm gonna have to follow
because
Preach
it's a full
around.
conversation going. So just sit back, relax, and kind of enjoy the show.
on, you
This is
guys
a
ready
TV
yet?
show.
I gotta start streaming. Can I start
And
streaming?
yeah, hopefully you enjoy. Good. Lewis is here, Jason the Livinator, God Cannon. I have no idea
I'm gonna
who
set the stage
July
here.
PSVR is.
I'm in a box.
I don't even need to introduce
box.
this. I got Ryan in my ear here just telling everybody the
Preacher,
things.
And we got Chughead.
What's up?
And of course, Gamertag. Him and Jason set this whole thing up, so awesome on you guys. This is great stuff. And Jimith Jamith helped
Jimith
build this
too.
level with Jason, and this
There
is
we go.
crazy.
Hey guys, this is R. Matey from Electric Hat Games, makers of To The Top, which inspired this great room, and we get to talk
Yeah,
about today,
Jason, you
so
nailed it. Think of this as a
jump in,
podcast.
explore, and get to the top and join our
Right
chat
on.
show. See you there.
Man, I really wish Jimith was here.
That is so cool, that hologram.
Alright, I just started streaming now.
Oh, our mate, he's a Jedi. I knew it.
Do, do, do.
Look at this place. That
We know
Jason-
Ryan's ready. Who else is ready?
Oh, cool.
I'm streaming now. I've started streaming.
I'm just checking the stream is live.
That's
I
the
just
point of
went
this whole
live. I
chat
just
show
went
here.
live.
Just so you guys know, just
Preacher.
first going to talk about
Okay.
PSVR.
Chat
Obviously,
show.
this week's a huge week.
Yo,
So
yo,
it's
yo,
got
what's up, everybody?
this
It's your
week's
boy Lewis
releases,
Knight,
any
and
kind
we
of
back
news
again.
that may be addressed, and then
And we trying
to the top
check
edge,
it
the
out.
audience scene, and we're going to talk about it as well.
We
Hopefully.
about to start. We do an intro.
I'm not organizing. I'm just
Start
part of
this
the
PSVR
chat.
chat show. It's gonna be dope, guys. So stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? We got everybody here to start. Hello, and welcome to the Preacher Plays. It went quiet for a minute. It felt like a good time.
Awesome.
It's good, man. It's good.
I feel like it's
That was
my.
funny.
I
That
feel
was
like.
really funny though. We were all whispering at the same time, trying to do our intros.
Hey, welcome to the Preacher Plays.
Hey, welcome to the PSVR Chat Show.
That could be
Featuring
Preacher's
Richard
brother in
Matey,
there. It doesn't matter.
Dan Dunham from Electric Hat Games. And we've got Ryan from the VR Grid. Shughead. The Preacher Plays. Justin PSVR. God Cannon. The Livinator. And Lewis Knight PSVR. And this room was created by Jimith Jamith and Jason the Livinator. And you're going to see this level and it's really cool. Everyone's put in loads of effort. Where's Richard?
a real crowd. It's at his
Jason.
waiting at his house right now.
He's what?
Richard is at the
It's got
top.
a lot of people.
Right then, guys, that's it then. We've got to make our way up the top, guys.
I guess
Alright.
it's time to go to the top, isn't it?
Oh, really? They're doing this?
Oh, do we just man. Wink, wink, pun intended.
Hey guys.
One at a time. Single file, guys. Single file.
Yes, Lewis.
I'll go last.
Great room.
I'm gonna
I messed up already. See, I messed up already.
my
I'm gonna go last. I
God.
suck.
This feels like
Kidding
Christmas
me?
morning now.
What's up, folks? Oh my God. Basically, the guy's been
Okay, unwrapping the gifts.
Uh-oh.
One more gift,
This
no.
is actual to the
Okay.
top
I'm
level.
sorry, Shug. I jumped on your head.
Yeah, this is
I know.
Top Dev made this.
To the top.
Richard Matey. He's made a nice message for us on the way in.
Oh, look at the guys. Look at them go.
Oh,
Oh,
I fell. I'm gonna go this way.
Let's jump on the stream.
If you guys can't tell here, this level has been inspired by To The Top, because we're talking to the devs
Woo!
today, so
Hey, you can go up the sides too.
What's up?
Oh no, that's my fault.
Oh my god, this is nuts.
Very cool. I love the move controllers. That's sick.
Oh, there's more at the top.
Inspired by To the Top. Yep. I know.
Yeah, for those of you guys just tuning in, and if you can't hear the other guys, we got the To the Top devs, as I said in the description, and
Look at this.
yeah, so this is the To the Top level that the boys created. And welcome to the PSVR Chat Show.
What up?
What's up? Here they all are.
That's sweet.
Look at the move controllers. Those move controllers are so dope.
Right?
That is amazing. I love the headset, the camera.
That is
Those
awesome.
are the biggest. Guys, you should have put analog sticks on those. I'm just kidding.
What the hell? I did it again. Shit.
When are we getting the donuts, dude? When are we getting the donuts?
Got it.
Yeah, got it.
All right. Whenever you want.
Nice.
I was gonna say before we get started talking, let's have some donuts and some root beer.
Oh
Yeah, this is
yeah.
we're in rec room right now, and To the Top
They want one of them.
made this level, and it's awesome. Oh wait, I want one of the glazed. Don't take the glazed.
God, Kenneth's got two.
Before they're
This is
gone.
mine. Okay, fine.
I didn't take two. I took two.
Holy shit! Save some donuts. Holy crap!
No!
There we go.
Cheers.
No. Get my spot and my drink.
Oh, you did that one.
All right.
We'll be out there.
Cheers.
There you go.
Making it rain all over.
This is amazing, guys. This is really
Yeah, this looks really cool. I just want to look at it like this.
Unfortunately, Julie's going to
take
make
them
it
up,
to the
Shug.
update.
He's driving.
We should do. We got to do like a screenshot there, like a picture.
Yeah,
a
get a
photo
photo.
on top of
We
stage.
will have a Kodak moment for sure.
Yeah, I'm right here though. I want this is my thumbnail right here. This is
Oh, shit, oh.
I'm going for this more donuts, man.
Guys.
GT.
What?
You want to eat my used donut?
I do. I want your used donut.
Thank you.
Look, there's a sun. Look at donut. They made it
And,
sun, guys.
yeah.
And the sun is actually it's like spinning on orbit. Look at that.
We're all still children.
Ryan-
boys and
Ryan
girls.
was
We are
actually
all
chilling on
still
the sun
big
before.
grown-up children.
Ryan, can I get on my knees in this game?
What's up?
I hope you can. That's the plan for later.
Well, if you want me to eat your used donut.
Get on your knees and tell
Oh.
you love me.
This one's cream filled.
Look at all.
That's my cream.
Yep.
Oh, deal.
Yo.
I'm the floor donut guy. I'll pick up all your floor donuts. I'm good with it.
How far does it go down?
We need to
All
clean
the way
it.
down. That's awesome. Can I hear it drop?
Oops.
Oh.
Sorry. Sorry.
Finish your donut.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm learning buttons here.
Nice.
All right, are we doing
I gotta
this?
bring my chair. I gotta bring my chair
I'm good
up.
to go.
Looking forward to the future to help.
Oh!
Man, you just bottled me.
I thought you were gonna catch it.
Man, I love eating donuts.
I can hear his speech over there.
I don't know.
I swear he's had more than me. All right, let's
There'll
go.
be some pizza.
I'll
later.
guarantee he is. Maybe.
Oh, this is a really comfy couch, guys.
I want to
Seriously.
sit next to Lewis. I want to sit next to Lewis.
the same way. Nice.
I had the best firewall stream today. It was awesome. I swear to God.
Last night was sick.
Everything's awesome about Firewall, but we're going to talk about that soon.
Mine.
Oh, yeah.
All
right, gamer tag, let's take it away.
Yeah, let's get her going.
Yeah, man, so we've got Richard. Is Dan coming today or not?
He'll be here eventually.
Alright, cool,
He'll send
man.
me a message. So
So, are we
as he's
going to wait for
on,
Dan,
I'll get
or
him
should we
on.
just fire up the questions with you, man?
we can just fire up the questions. That's cool.
Well, let him do his speak first, and then we'll do questions here.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do first?
Well, let him talk about the game, and then we'll ask the questions from the YouTubers after.
I'll tell you what, let's talk about To the Top, dude.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So, what was like your inspirations behind the game when you made it?
It's definitely looking at it. We wanted to make a platformer. We knew that like VR locomotion was going to be a challenge, so we kind of just looked at like what were like great system sellers, and like Super Mario was like one of those things that like defined a generation, brought the game industry back and all this other good stuff. So that was a huge one. And then we also have Mirror's Edge for first person. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's good you incorporate multiplayer as well. I think that's one of the biggest things for To the Top. Is it the same amount of players on PSVR as it is on PlayStation?
I think we have a lot more on PlayStation. Yeah, we've had a really good community, so it's really awesome, all those features in there. So yeah,
It is
go PSVR.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what should we go through the questions that we got from the viewers?
Yeah.
I think we should. Yeah. I think we
You
should.
guys got any questions?
We've got a
Feed
few
her.
here. Yeah, man.
I don't have any.
We've got... No, that's cool. So we've got from Grim Catnip. What were your inspiration for the game, which you just said? Any plans for more levels and any future games being made with the engine?
So for the most part, you guys got all the extra levels, because all the extra levels we got into the PC version and brought all that stuff to the PlayStation VR as well. So really, we want to make something bigger and better, and that's kind of our next big focus, as well.
What are you trying to say? Is it To the Top 2 coming?
There's something down the line. we haven't nailed down exactly what, but yeah, I don't think it'll be the same engine, but it'll be a better engine. So that'll take a little bit more time, but it'll be extra nice for you guys.
It is an amazing engine already, considering there's no pro features. It is an amazing looking game.
Oh, yeah.
It'd have guns.
Thanks. Will it have guns? Maybe.
Well,
Diamond and guns.
to follow up on that though, is there any plans? Are you guys continuing support, like as far as like even more modes, like even like hide and seek or tag or something like that? Is there anything in the
Tag would be quite good.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Maybe. I think the issue is that it is a little.
Drop it.
I could drop it. No, I think you could hear me better without the mic.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
It sounds.
Yeah, man, it's cool.
Yeah. No, it's a nice touch. I like the touch. But yeah, doing those extra modes would be really neat. It's a little hard to get updates through PlayStation.
Yep.
So if you're going to experiment with that stuff, that's when we do it on the PC, and then we could update it like as much as we want. But yeah, we definitely have some plans to do like some really early testing stuff. But that'll be mostly on the PC side for the most part, which, you know, if it was easier, we'd get it to you guys. But for the most part, we have so much more control on the Steam side. So, yeah, it's allowed us to, like, you know, really proof of concept our game already and then bring a polished version to you guys at the end of the year.
Yeah, makes sense.
I want to ask, can we download the soundtrack?
You find the soundtrack in various places.
Yeah.
One song here, one song there.
YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, there might be something down the line where you can get a hold of the soundtrack in a certain way. We haven't announced that yet, but there might be something special.
Yeah, because a lot of
in
people will enjoy the music. A lot of people.
Yeah,
enjoy the
no,
music
it's a really awesome.
Yeah, and
soundtrack,
who's the person who created the music?
So it's a bunch of different Austin
Yeah.
bands for the most part. So we have Capiac, that's one of the bigger ones. Sloom's on there, Sip Sip, Mirror Mask, and then we have Future Islands, which is not an Austin band, but a bigger one that I wanted to include just because it breaks the mold, and I really love their sound.
And you had
man.
you had Breakbot in there. That's a group that I like. They're a new disco group. I was pretty pumped to see that in there.
I think we had Breakbot, but maybe next time. Oh,
Well, is there?
another one.
Yeah.
Which song are you referring to?
I don't remember the name of it, but it's in there.
Oh, okay.
It was in there.
It should be there still then.
That could have been on your
Could've been like a
Spotify.
sample.
I was gonna say he left his Spotify.
Maybe it's, yeah.
Yeah, it could've
All
been
right,
a
so we've got
sample, maybe.
we've got another good one here from Non-Profit Socks. He says, where do you
love
see
that
the
name.
future of PSVR and VR in general, and what are your main goals to achieve on the platform?
What was the question again?
Sorry, the question was, where do you see the future of PSVR and VR in general, and what are your main goals to achieve?
I think it's really just building out that audience, right? Like, slowly but
That's what we're trying to do. That's what all of us try and do on YouTube.
That's,
You know what I mean?
that's what it's all about, because, you know, I know VR is not for everybody, and that's fine. I don't think you don't need to say like VR is the future, because it's not going to, you know, overcome everything else, right? It's just going to be added on to everything else. So people can still play non-VR games, and then people play VR games. It's just finding who that audience is, and then making the best awesome games that make people want to put on the headsets. and that's really what we're doing. And I think
Fall.
with the last releases,
Definitely fall time.
the last couple months, we're finding what really works in VR, and and what we can expand on, because we're 11 Firewall 0 now, and we know it's rough in some places, but it's like an archetype that you could build on the future, and you could easily see where that is in 5 years.
Yeah,
and for us, it's the same. It's like we have a grander vision of what we could do to the top, and it's not just platforming and stuff like that. There's a lot of things we could do with our mechanics, and we have that vision. It's just getting there, and one step at a time.
I just can't imagine what it must be like to have a vision or a dream of making a game and actually seeing it and getting in it.
Yeah,
it must be incredible.
It takes a dream, and it takes a little bit of ignorance, because making a game takes a lot of hard work, and it's a big risk. But the end of the day, we're really happy with it, and we're really lucky. We've been able to find an awesome audience to support it and support us to make the next big thing.
Nice, man. So another question from one of God Cannon's followers. Metcat, what are your future plans at Electric Hat Studios? So I'm assuming they're thinking either what are you working on, or are you expanding teams, or?
For the most part, yeah. Like, so for To the Top, this is like the most independent project possible. Like, this is money out of our pocket. We didn't get extra support from anybody else besides Panic Button, which employs Dan, and they're really awesome of getting the PSVR version out. But from the ground up, it was out of our pocket to get the base game done for the PC. So really, it'd be great to
man.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah. So
yeah, man.
A lot of
Did you have to quit your original jobs to fully work on this? I mean, it must be such a risk.
Yeah, it is a big risk.
Gotta risk it for the biscuit.
Exactly.
Biscuits.
It's all about rolling those dice. So you could always get a paycheck at the end of the day, or you could blaze your own path, and we're trying to blaze our own path. And but I know there's also partners out there. We're very stubborn, and we wanted to just get it out there and get it done. But I know that we could work with other people to that we're not going to lose control of what our game is, but they just want to support us to make a even better one. So hopefully we can make some great deals.
Do you have any sales figures? Any sales figures to go with To the Top? Like how it's doing?
So on the PC side, I don't know if I could say on the PlayStation side, but on the PC side, it's about 28,000, which is pretty decent. Our target was like 20,000, because that was kind of the top mark about a year into the VR sales there. So it's not killing it. You're not gonna get that million copy seller. But over time, I think we can get more and more people, and I think it's in my eyes, I have to kind of look at it as it's kind of classic in a way of hopefully people can still play it like three years down the line and still like it, 5 years down the line and still like it.
The thing is, hopefully bringing out this game so early in the life of VR, that's given you maybe some sort of advantage.
Right. It is
the next thing.
Reputation.
Yep.
Yeah, and reputation.
It's reputation.
Absolutely.
And seeing all the platforms, because we have a lot of different headsets now, right? We have the PlayStation one, we have the PC stuff with 3 different kinds of headsets.
You got the Vive, you got the Rift.
Yep, and then the
Windows.
There's new ones bloody every other month at the moment, I keep seeing.
Right.
I read an interesting article the other day. It was talking about the slow growth of like the 3 million headsets sold. Is actually, it benefits smaller independent developers like Electric Hat and everyone else. Did you see any benefit from this, like, versus having to go against like some giant company with PSVR?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure. Like the hardest thing right now for creating games, especially on a smaller scale, is exposure. You definitely see that with on the PC side, like they let the floodgates open and anyone can make something for Steam, which is a really cool thing and also a really hard thing, depending on where you're coming at it. So for us, it was a lot easier to as long as we made a great game, people kind of supported it, which is awesome. But you also see that with like Firewall is a pretty small-ish team, and they're not competing with Call of Duty, right? So and for us, we're not competing with too many other people. You know, there's not many games like ours. So yeah, that's
Unique.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Can we look at Ryan, the Ryan VR grid man? He's been...
yeah.
You wouldn't give numbers for PlayStation. I understand they make you guys sign the papers, but you said you had your base quota for PC was 20,000. You sold 28,000. Did your sales on PlayStation exceed your expectations as far as that goes?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I think we're kind of on track of like it'll be hitting similar targets over time. So yeah, I don't think it's like, you know, the install base is 3 times as large as what it is on the PC-ish. You know, depending on what you're counting. So I think over time it'll be similar, but yeah, it's not drastically greater than the PC side.
So you'd say 3 times 28,000 then is what you're saying?
No, no. I think it's actually similar numbers, but
You're being humble.
Yeah.
You don't forget you were number 1 in June on PSVR side. You were the number 1 selling game in June.
Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You got the shout out from the man himself, the big man. Yep.
You're being too humble right now. Hey, appreciate you.
It's an amazing game,
We
dude.
gotta
That's
give
what we're
credit
here
where
talking
credit's
about it. So anyway, next we got...
JT,
Oh,
can I-
sorry, one
can I
more.
just
Sorry,
jump
mate.
in very
Yeah.
quick? Sorry, I
Go
just had
for
a
it.
question related to that from one of the guys on my stream, from A Hobbit. He's just asking, would it help and benefit the developers if you could like donate through Patreon or Pawstamp or something like that? That's something you guys do? Or?
I mean, maybe, but it's the thing where it's like, I'm not gonna go and like nickel and dime people or like kind of beg for money, but there's things like, if we're gonna do like dedicated servers, stuff like that, I was thinking like, hey, maybe we would actually go that route. But I don't see a whole lot of success on the crowdfunding side or the, you know, the like doing a VR Kickstarter game doesn't really work right now. I haven't seen a whole lot of success stories, and like there's one that is going on right now that's like ex-God of War developers. They're making kind of a space pirate trainer type of thing, and they're just looking for $30,000, which is not going to get them far. But I hope they actually make their Kickstarter goals and stuff like that. But yeah, I think for us, depending on the way we go, if we're going to go more single player with the next thing, we're not going to look for like crowdsource stuff or like looking for other side of funding. But if we do some more multiplayer things, and you know, we want, if you guys want dedicated servers, like helping us with those costs would be awesome. So that might be a way we go, because you know, as we could see with some recent multiplayer games having a dedicated servers that are a little bit, you know, easier to jump into and play is a huge benefit, especially for VR. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Has anyone else got any live viewer
answer,
questions? So I've got some in here already. Has anyone else got any others on their streams currently?
I got a question, and this is coming from me. One of the things that I definitely noticed jumping into your game when I was doing my review was the draw distance was fantastic, and that always seems to be one of the weak spots in VR's good draw distance without it becoming a blurry, jagged mess. I guess that just kind of leads me into kind of how did you find a workaround for that, and also just kind of challenges with working on the PSVR hardware?
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good question for sure. So for the first thing I wanted to do was the art style kind of started off with thinking about like, okay, we're going to have these big-ass levels, right? We're talking about city blocks, not just like a building. So that's one thing. And then we knew that people were going to be climbing against the surfaces, so a lot of that stuff gets into be like a very jumbled mess, right? So we really wanted to limit like the textures, so there's no... I think there's only like, you know, out of the whole game, there's a couple objects that might have a photo texture. There's no photo textures. There's just a color, like a shine to it, and like some normal maps. That's the way we kept it clean and kind of cohesive. So things that look far away and things look close have the same quality.
Totally.
And I really want to dedicate or dictate to you like what the shape is of the thing. Like that is the most important thing. Like I don't care about trash on the ground. I just care about, you know, you seeing the shape clearly. So that's where that came into play. And then as far we push the draw distance as much as we can. There's still times that we clip it, but For the most part, yeah, it was kind of a nightmare making such big levels, but it's also a lot of fun. So, you know, if I wanted to, you know, it would be great if it was a little bit more realistic, or you could see like people below you, and we've really fleshed that out. But you know, that comes with a lot of like smoke and mirrors, and we only had so many, so much smoke and so many mirrors. But I think it works. You know, it was just about a clean, cohesive style that was easily readable, and that's kind of like what we went for.
Yeah, you
and,
nailed
everything.
You just nailed the sensation, that feeling of flight and climbing, and without making people barf too. So that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Go for it. I'm totally.
When I started the game, I think, Lewis, you had the same problem. I'm afraid of heights. Not deathly afraid of heights, but I couldn't even do the levels at first. And
That's
this
what I was
game
going to say. Thank you.
has broken me out of that. And you've helped me get over that a lot. Just fly, I can fly around, drop anywhere in there, man. Well, you saw it. You came at the beginning.
I'm still.
You saw how scared I was. I was sitting there with my hands sweating. I couldn't even get up there. Yeah,
I'm still scared to death, man. I can't do it.
Well, you and Justin are like, you've done the, you won the competition, didn't you?
Hey, Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag.
You ever played the Everest experience?
Yeah, man. I was waiting for that. I was waiting. Why didn't they send it anyway?
No. Are you doing any more competitions? People have been asking because people want the shirts.
Yeah, let's
Are you
hear
guys
about
planning
some
on doing
more.
any more?
Yeah. Well, let's not get in the way of the what is it, the Game Cats. The Game Cats you guys have a competition coming up in middle of September?
Yeah, Grim Cat. September 16th. There's a big competition going on where they're going to do no placeables and see who can get the best times, and then they're going to...
That is a great idea.
So check that out.
Yep, winner gets $20, so definitely join if you want to. It's going to be fun.
I got one more question over here. From User Fantastic Gaming. What were the challenges with trying to get rid of sim sickness in VR?
I think it's like one of them is really recognizing the different kinds of issues that people could have. Because like we just talked about heights, that's one issue. The other is the whole motion. Another is like rotation for people. And then for us, we also have the sensation of falling, which I think is different than nausea and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't like it.
I fall a lot into the top.
Yeah, so we try to minimize, the nausea and stuff like that with how we move you and how you jump and how we accelerate the movement and stuff like that. And then for like the sensation of falling and stuff like that, it's like, well, that's just part of the game. It's finding that balance. For us, we look at it as like a roller coaster. Like it's a little bit thrilling, it's a little bit scary, but it's safe for the most part. So yeah, it's kind of all those balances, and then kind of play testing it. We did a lot of play testing, so we did a lot of events around Austin. We probably did like 30 events or something like that, with doing South by, doing Rooster Teeth, doing other VR meetups, and then just testing it and just seeing how everyone reacts and gets into it.
So I've got a question from a viewer, from Jimif Jamif, who helped create this level. Yeah, man, he can't get in. The game won't update for him.
Well, tell him thanks for
I
putting it
had
together.
issues
It's awesome.
too.
Yeah, man. He just said, what's it like to be on the show in a level built around your game?
It's really stellar. No, it was really, really cool to jump in here yesterday and like see what you guys did, and like it's like I knew this was going to be like a VR chat show, but like we have a little gameplay to jump around and get to here, and I thought
oh yeah, man, the level's fantastic.
Super cool. Yeah, this is like this is why VR is different and like fun and new. Like I've never heard of something like this, and I think it's cool that you guys are putting it together.
Wicked,
it's really
it's all down.
Just jump around right now and go play.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm winking at you right now, but you can't see it, so sorry.
So I've got a developer jumping on the chat. Strange Games. They do Honor and Duty.
Is that Reggie? Is that Reggie?
Yeah, man. Reggie. What was your experience like with Sony's VR consultant?
Oh man, I wish Dan was here. Actually, let me see if he's here.
I just want to pass the buck.
Dan Dunham.
Oh, totally gaggle.
He's coming. He's online now.
But they're finding ways to get around that.
All right, cool. So I'm going to go back to the questions.
I think he joined. I think he's...
Yeah, Cerebral Frost.
Cerebral Frost.
Hey, you got to climb.
You gotta climb and fly.
Or you can
I'll go get him.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, we're going up.
Hey,
Hey buddy.
What's up?
Hey. I am stuck. Oh, there we go. So we're going...
I'm only catching part of that. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Can you hear me? We are going to
Now
the
I
top.
can hear
We are going to the top.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
All right.
Hey guys, this is R-Matey from Electric Hat Games, makers of To The Top. Inspired this great room, and we have to talk about today. So jump in, explore, and get to the top so you can join our chat show. See you there.
Man, they made it a challenge to get into the show? What the heck?
Yeah. You got to work for it. It's not quite as smooth as your game, but yeah, it's what we got.
This is pretty cool. I'm digging it.
You want one? There you go. Yeah. Wait till they're waiting till they come across. So they get a drop. It's like water bottles. It's like water bottles.
What was that?
They're throwing bottles at you.
Yeah, they're bombing. It's hilarious. I saw Preach. I knew what he was doing. I was like, look at this guy, man.
Oh no, I fell.
This is awesome, man.
That was hilarious.
That was a perfect
Thanks,
shot.
Dylan, man. Appreciate it.
That was great. Hey, Cerebral Frost.
We are chatting with the developers of To The Top.
Good to meet you guys. What's up? Nice room,
How you
guys.
doing, Cerebral Frost? You good?
Yeah.
Nice
Nice to
we
see
met
you again.
before, man.
Yeah.
You
It's good to see you.
Cool, man.
There we go.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Have a root beer.
yeah.
Have a root beer. Shug's giving you a root beer.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually,
Is there any donuts left for him? Give him a donut.
Richard, come down, man. We're not in Mary Poppins.
Okay, there you go.
You got a floor donut.
Where is he?
There we go.
So Dan, we have a question for you.
what's
Yeah,
up?
they did.
Excuse me.
Is it a hard
So,
question?
yeah,
Because I
so
can't.
anyway,
I can't
what-
answer hard questions.
It is a hard... It's a question
So
you're
the
not going to
question-
want to answer.
The question was from Strange Game Studios, the guys who develop Honor and Duty. They wanted to know, what was your experience with the Sony VR consultant?
Actually, the Sony VR consultant stuff was awesome. Mostly just
Dylan,
because it
answer in
helped
a
us
minute.
with like QA stuff. Without having to actually submit to QA. So it made it. Yeah, it actually helped a lot.
It's good to hear.
Excellent stuff. Right, next question from Regular Joe. How long does it take on average to complete one map?
Those are the developers
start to
from
finish.
To The Top.
It totally depends on the map and how good you are.
Yeah.
There's some folks that can just fly through the maps and like.
I think he means you
He's talking
building
about
the map.
creating it.
Oh, making the map. Oh yeah, that's a
what I read.
Richard question.
46 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a Richard. I like
Over
this
to you,
guy.
Richard.
So yeah, it took me about a week to get like an idea down and it's playable, and then that's like a bulk of the work, and then it's playtesting it with different people, and then refining it over time. So it really was like about 2 weeks, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, this is awesome. Okay, I'm gonna be right back because I actually have some raspberry beer that I'm gonna go get. So. I'll be right back.
That's so cool.
So,
This
Richard,
is
I got a
this is
question.
sarsaparilla, guys. This is sarsaparilla. It's fine.
I've got a question
We've got a question, Justin.
from Mitch Hollow. He says, how are you
Mitch
trying
Hollow?
to address the
That's
problem
Seraphim's
of
friend.
female player harassment? Have you ever given that any thought, or?
Well, I think we actually haven't. We haven't had many females. That's one thing. But for the most part, I think I designed the game so there's no friction in the game. So when you jump in and you race against each other, there's nothing that's like competitive. You're not shooting anyone in the head, right? So we wanted to test out to see like, hey, is this if this is all positive, and you're just helping placeables. How are people going to react? And it was really good. Like, you guys are all cool. Like, we haven't had any issues of moderating at all, which is fantastic.
I'll say this. The only skin
positive
grabbing you
gaming.
do is high fives in that game.
Yeah, that's it.
I will, Dylan.
It's all positive. So,
Yeah,
I
Mitch
think
Ho-
it's
Mitch
really
Hollow,
up
I
to
know
the
him
design of
through
the game.
Seraphim.
So,
And you get points for high-fiving, too. You were
There you
working
go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah.
Slugging
So,
a beer, man. Rec room.
Yeah, I think
Wink, wink. Wink,
the
wink.
more competitive and the more friction you have in the game, the more, back and forth they're going to have. And that's just, that's the nature of it, I really feel like.
That's why we don't have chat during firewall.
Yeah, like Firewall, you know, it's super fun, but I get pissed off, and I say, and I curse, and you know,
yeah. I don't want to talk to the other team. I don't want to talk to the other team afterwards. I'm gonna say some shit.
That's why you can't talk to him, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I appreciate your answer.
So before you made To the Top, did you have any other ideas on the board? Did you have any? Was there anything else that you thought, if this doesn't work, or what made you fully invest in like a parkour game of that type, or was it just the one thing you both wanted to do?
Before To the Top, there was a few different experiments that I built. Yeah. Almost all of them.
Or will it lead on to something else?
I mean, not a lot of them were really games. They were just kind of experiments, learning how to sort of make stuff in VR. But I was always trying to make stuff with movement in it. And that, you know, that's not the most popular move in some circles. But yeah, like I built one demo where I was trying to do a jetpack thing. Like you had miniature planets, and you had like this miniature planet, and you were like jetpack around this mini planet, trying to solve puzzles and stuff, and that was terrible. And then,
Iron Man flight in that game.
That was different. No, the Iron Man thing was not quite, because the jetpack was built with the Vive, right? And so it was room scale. And so what you do is the jetpack was actually on one side of your room, like your physical room, and it was always in that same spot. And then you had the rest of your room to like walk around and like go do stuff with puzzly stuff. And then you'd walk back over to your jetpack like this, and then get in it, and then fly away. And so basically you were flying your room around this miniature planet and like trying to do stuff.
Really cool.
And so I thought
incredibly cool.
I thought it was clever, but it really wasn't clever. It was not that. It was very arduous to like have to, you know, I want to get in my jetpack. I got to walk over here to get in the right thing. And of course the controls were all physical, so you had to grab, you know, the left and right sticks with your controllers and then move them around to fly. And it was like,
so to make a test demo for yourself, how much time does that take?
Not long, especially these days. Like, you know, maybe even 10 years ago, it was difficult to get a hold of some off-the-shelf tech to be able to build anything, and that took a long time just to build a tech stack. And now it's like you can just get something off the shelf, you know, either Unreal or Unity, and start prototyping and stuff. And actually, even this game, even the guys, you know, that did Rec Room, like the tools that they built for this let you kind of play around with things in VR.
Well, look at this.
Which is super cool.
Look at this.
Yeah, I mean,
this is what Jason and Jim have made. And,
right. Well, I mean, besides just doing environments, but also like they have mechanics and things that you can do, and they have little, you know, now they have the little, I forget what they call them, but you can hook up little logic gates and things like that, and have like game logic in your rooms and stuff. So yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, man.
We got enough time for the last two questions, and then we got to continue.
Yeah, good. Well, has anyone else got any other questions?
Make people sit here for 2 hours watching us.
No, definitely not. We're
were you guys here for 2 hours? Oh my God.
Okay. No. The last time we went way.
Has anyone else got any questions on the chat? Or we're going to start talking about Firewall.
Well, I just want to quickly jump in. I got Dylan in chat here, and he just wanted me to take a chance to let you guys know that he absolutely loves your game, and he plays it every single day. So
sweet. Is he like at the top of the leaderboards now?
I don't know. He's not saying
shortcuts.
Maybe he still sucks. Maybe he still sucks, but he loves it.
That's cool.
Hey, it's okay because I still suck and I love it too, so it's fine.
And names you'll see on that leaderboard.
Cannon. Yeah. God, Cannon. Yeah.
Cannon's on a lot of leaderboards. I ain't gonna talk to Cannon.
Yeah. Trophy hunter. Dave Station, who can't be here unfortunately at the moment. He has asked if Panic Button plan to port more games to PSVR because they've done a really good port with some Switch games.
So I'm not under the authority to answer that question. We do. I mean, Panic Button does have lots of stuff that we're working on. I don't know if you guys know or like look at the other list of games that we're working on, but there's a lot of non-VR games in there as well. So yeah, I mean that would be a question for Adam.
They answered that, Dylan.
Over there at Panic Button. But yeah.
You go back to the video once I post it. You'll get that answer.
What comes first when you're developing a game? Is it the story or the concept?
Well, with this one, it was definitely just the concept of movement and stuff like that. Like the story was, I mean, I think Richard would agree. The story is pretty much an afterthought, really, because it was way more important to get it's way more important to get the mechanics and everything working for this game. But that's not true for every game, right? Like there's some really cool story-based games out there too, where the story, you know, Detroit, for example, you know, it's I mean, the mechanics in Detroit are amazing, but the story is really the focus.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So, guys, it's time to talk about Firewall.
Wait,
and
one more
who
question.
should...
We have
one
two
more, go
questions
for
from
it.
the viewers. We have Jimith and we have...
Thanks, Don.
Yeah, we have one more question.
Yeah, I was looking at Jimmy's, man. I thought
Hey,
we
guys,
saw...
I'm sorry, I'm lagging out.
The light came out of the
Arch King, and Arch King Wizard. There was another one from Arch King Wizard.
All right, so we've got one from Arch King Wizard. It says, are there any plans for DLC or maps?
The Move controller.
There are plans in the works for future stuff. We are not sure quite what that's going to take the shape of. We don't know if that's going to take the shape of
Sorry about that.
New game or DLC or something like that. But yeah, we're definitely working on stuff. But at the moment, it's just me and Richard right now because we're pretty thin, pretty bare bones. So yeah.
Is there any plans to expand yourselves as Electric Hat?
I mean, that's always the goal, right? Like, is to get this out, get the IP out, get some recognition, and then start making bigger and bigger games. That's always kind of the idea.
Yeah, man. And one more from Jimmy, who's the guy who created this. He said, I had a basic question. What made them decide to make a game that was essentially a VR parkour game?
Because there wasn't one. I mean, part of it was... part of it was when we originally did the prototype, which was a very short session. I think that was less than a week, right, Richard? Like, it only took a week or so.
It was like a weekend. Yeah,
like a weekend.
Okay.
Like, but after that, at that point, we already knew, like, okay, we have to make a game using this because it works really well. So I think it was more that than a conscious decision of like, oh, well, let's just, let's plan this out. And we're going to plan all these things first. No, it was more like, oh, we discovered this mechanic, or we felt like we discovered. I'm sure we weren't the first ones to do this exact same mechanic, but, and we're like, well, this is a lot of fun, and this has a lot of implications on what can be done with the game. We're talking about like what other games might be in the works or whatever. But there's a lot of things that you can do with this game. Including right now the game doesn't have shooting and there's really no enemies or anything like that. But you could see that adding those things in wouldn't make the game worse. Let's just put it that way. Like, we did do a demo. We did do an experiment where we made a multiplayer shooter version of the game where your hands switch into guns. So you can like leap and change your hands into guns, and you can shoot at each other. It was just a 1v1 little experiment that we did, and that was so much fun. So it's like, we definitely want to have something like that in the future. So there's definitely lots that we're thinking about.
Yeah, but I think what he's talking about, where we started from, like, we started doing it on the weekend, and we're like, okay, let's do, like, a realistic climbing game. And that would work, we could, make it look all nice and stuff like that. Basically, it was like the climb before we had any idea what the climb was for the Oculus. But then, we started doing jumping, and then we're like, oh, shit, let's just give the player, like, superpowers and have fun with it, because we don't really see a whole point in making simulations in VR. That's not really fun for us. We want to make fun games, so that's like kind of where it came from, and we started bringing the Super Mario ideas for levels and the Mirror's Edge.
Oh mate, that stood out a mile to me. That stood out in canon, the level canon. I was like, this reminds me of Super Mario so much, and Sonic a little bit in places.
I think that might be somebody else's favorite level too.
Who?
Cannon?
Oh, God, Cannon.
That is far from
I'm sure they're on perpetrator.
Was your hand on the couch?
No, just lingering.
What are you talking about?
Oh, dude, who's that? I have no idea. Christy, so thank you very much for talking about To The Top today and the ideas, the inspirations behind it. Thank you both. So, I think we need to start talking about Firewall, which pretty much I think everyone would have been playing it tonight mostly. Who done the last?
What's Firewall? What's Firewall?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Get out.
So Ryan, you're the last person I know to actually play it today before you come on here.
No, I played it 2 hours before. Oh, no, you talking about Firewall?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I played it 2 hours before coming on here.
Oh, was it you? I thought Ryan done it as well.
No, Ryan was playing Viking. Ryan was playing Viking Kings.
You know it's funny though, Gamertag.
Viking
I was watching your stream all day today at work. The stream that you did, I think it was last night, and so I had that playing all day today while I was working on other games.
Yeah.
So I thought that was
yeah.
kind of funny.
We had to pull Richard off of it just to come here today. Just to come here.
I had a good 7 hours so far today.
Oh my god.
That's my number.
No, yes. No, I had a.
Oh yeah, I got my first knife kill on God Cannon. That's right.
Oh my God!
Really
Don't tell anybody that. Shh.
So, Ryan, Ryan, talk to me about
We'll
it,
let
man.
Lewis go first here.
Go on, Lewis, go for it.
No, it's fine. Okay, thank you. No, I'm stuck. No, I had a 2-hour stream obviously before coming on here with some more Firewall, and it's
What
probably
level
one
are
of the
you,
best streams I've had. 10 right now, actually.
Nice.
It's probably one of the best streams I've had in a while. Like it was so fun. I literally everyone that I played with recognized me. It was so much fun. Like we've all talked about how awesome it is. It's what we've all been waiting for. It's the VR shooter, but it's like not only is it reaching, obviously, because we've been waiting for it. We're already PSVR owners, but it's reaching people outside the VR community. That's what Firewall is doing, and so I'm gonna point your attention to a channel that I saw. I don't think he's sponsored, by the way. Inside joke. He does.
I know he is.
We're not mentioning his name.
He does. Well, this guy's channel's name is CNS _ Gray, GREAY.
Sorry, talking about someone else.
No, this guy's name is CNS _ Gray, and he does mostly Call of Duty, Fortnite, big shooters, 2D stuff, and he does very little PSVR stuff. He has a PSVR. He's done a couple videos here and there, but this game kind of brought him out of the woodworks to get into a shooter, and he was hyped for it before. Now he's now that he's played the game, it's everything that again he's dreamed of, being able to be inside the shooters that he's been playing for so long.
Mm-hmm. That's the secret of PSVR, isn't it?
And that's
You've got
the
to get
secret.
in it. You've got to get in the headset.
Yeah, it's the most fantastic thing I could dream for since I got into the VR.
Yeah, you're a Siege fan. You're a Siege fan.
Well, any kind of first-person shooter fan in general. But I've been waiting for a game like this forever, especially in VR. It's just so good. It works so well. The aim controller is solid. The gameplay while you're playing the game is solid. I just can't talk enough. How good it is. There's so many things you could say about it. Obviously, there's the little issues with the servers and stuff like that. But hopefully they'll get over that. Other than that, it is a legit first-person shooter in VR.
Everyone here has played it, haven't they? Right. Everyone has played it.
Yeah. With all the unlocks and the stuff that you can put on your guns, skins, customizations, it is a first-person shooter all the way. We don't need campaign for things like that. Rainbow Six doesn't have a campaign. Okay, it's just multiplayer and training missions.
I'm gonna put up a video about that.
It's the same thing. It's beautiful. I can't get enough of Firewall Zero. I'm going to be playing more tonight after this, guys. I hope you will too.
We're all going to go in together, hopefully.
Yeah.
We should get
that'll
8
be
players,
amazing.
right?
We got a nice private party after this. That'd be great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you know what's nice as well? All the trailers, all the hype before it, I think it's completely been justified.
It totally deserved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's an amazing...
Yes, Scottish, I remember.
Transparency.
What's up, dude?
They had trailers, they had gameplay, they had information. They really did a lot with
They did a lot of the expos. They're letting people try it, so they're not afraid of the game.
Right.
It's really good to see that.
There's been a couple that
I've barely slept thanks to that. I know you're in the same boat as me. Probably everybody else here too. As well.
Yeah.
It's hard to get off the damn game.
That's the thing. It's one of those games that I think all of us knew that
Hey, who's this?
you had to put on your channels because you had to get people to watch it.
Totally my fault.
They had to see it.
You can kick him.
Kick him.
Nice, dude. Kick him. So next, we're going to talk about Bow to Blood by Tribe Toy. Who's played Bow to Blood here?
Let Shug talk.
Not.
Yes, Bow to Blood.
Go for it, Shug. And I know you're going to be a good man for it. Go for it.
Yeah, Bow to Blood, I think was. It's going to get overshadowed by Firewall. That's just unavoidable. But I hope it's one of those games that people pay attention to. When they're looking. Yeah, I think it's one of those games that's going to have some life with it. I think it's it's good counter programming too, because for people who want like a single player game right now, and they want to break from the multiplayer stuff, it's deep. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. Like,
poor guy.
Bye bye.
Sorry, there was some entertaining stuff going on over there.
I'm sorry, Sean.
It's all good.
Who that was?
Forget about it. Forget about it.
Here
Jason,
until you guys got him.
We got security breach, dude. We got security breach.
He tried to throw a shit here.
I think an assassination. It was an assassination.
There we go.
That is here.
Jason's the bouncer. So yeah, man, so Bouncer Blood I thought was absolutely fantastic. Did you play it with the moves and the DualShock, or did you prefer?
I did. I actually preferred the moves. I know a lot of people didn't, but I felt that the game, like the ship itself, moves very slowly. Like it's got these big turns, so I didn't feel like the analog sticks were really like needed. So like I mean, it's a little more complex. So, you know, a little more button pushes, but like being able to aim all your guns with your move controller, and to be able to point and click at your guys and command them quickly, just to me just worked really well. But the game was so deep, like managing all your resources and telling your guys what to do, and then when you get into the friends and foes system and realizing that like that actually like makes a difference, because I played like a total asshole for the first round, and I got to the third stage and I was in the bottom of it, and everybody voted me out because I was a total dick to everyone.
Did you play? So you played it how many times? I'm on my second playthrough and I realised how different it was.
I'm on my third season of it, but I still haven't gotten to the finals. Like the game's got legs, and the other thing I really liked about it was, for those of you guys who don't know, the art director worked on the Telltale Borderlands series, and if you look at that game, you can totally see the Borderlands in it.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing, dude.
Oops. There we go.
Oh, he's only dropped.
It actually.
Gamer tag.
It looked like it worked.
But it makes the voice lower, so it's actually.
Oh, it does. It's not that good, huh?
Don't know. Oh well. Anyways.
Hit the triangle. Hit the triangle.
There we go.
Anyone else want to talk about? Everyone happy with that Bout of Blood?
Bout of Blood, like Shug said, it's so much fun. It's so much more addicting than you realize. And like so you just keep playing and playing and playing, and it just engrosses you. And then, like I said, the light social aspects, pretty much every part of that game just gets you deeper and deeper and deeper. The levels constantly mix up the action, whether you're racing or having to destroy a certain target or just chasing items. There's so much content value in that game. It's a great single player experience for a great price.
And one more thing I want to add.
You played it.
Preach, one more thing before, and then I'm done. I have never played a game on the PSVR that needed a multiplayer mode more than this game, though. Like, being able to, with all the depth and managing your resources, it'd be so much fun with the scale, you know, and all the elevation changes, and even if it was just like, even if I could just put Ryan on my bridge and be like, you're the gunner, even that I would settle for.
Wash my shoes. Make my dinner.
I played it for like an hour.
You done a review, dude, didn't you?
I haven't reviewed it yet, but I did quite a long stream on it, and
I saw you play it, man. Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it. I totally enjoyed it. I did have a few guys. Shut up!
Preaches one time to talk, and his dog kicks up.
Doesn't like my voice. It's racist.
Good dog.
I had a few guys on my stream though. I don't know if any of you guys did, but I had a few guys on my stream. I don't mean just general. I was like, they were talking and they were saying like, I'm not interested in it, even though they were watching it. And I was telling them how great and fun it was. They were like, fuck this game, not for me, not spending money on it. I was like, why?
That's too bad.
It's really,
so
really
what about
so unique.
Yeah, man.
You know,
it's
there's
brilliant.
no other game like it. The only thing close is Star Trek, and like, you know, that's what PS4
not the same thing.
You have to play it to understand.
I couldn't believe it.
You gotta play it.
Believe it.
Yeah, you gotta feel it.
Watching YouTube stuff's not the same though, is it? You know, even watching videos. Yeah. We try our best, but we can never fully sell the
Some
this
translate
one you have to be
better than others.
Yeah.
Now, were the guys that were watching your stream and saying that, though, were they people that already have VR, or were they people that don't have VR yet?
Some of them are definitely people that have VR, because I know they've got other games.
So Firewall has been the one game I noticed more than any that are people who are asking, should I get a PSVR for this game?
Right.
And they some of them were actually saying, I've just ordered it now.
Yeah, gamertag. I've actually had people pop it into the chat on my review and said specifically one guy today was like, I just bought the whole bundle just for this game.
Yeah.
I played
so I do have a problem with that. There's a small problem, and that is the aim controller. So if Fireball works awesome with the aim controller. It works great with the aim controller. But have you guys played it with the DualShock 4?
Jason has.
Ryan did.
So before you say whether or not you liked it, I'm going to say I did not like it, and the reason why was because the aiming on the control, you have to point your hands down to aim straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, carpal
and that
tunnel all
does
the
two
way
things.
down.
One, it's uncomfortable to sort of like if you want to aim down sights, you have to point forward with the controller, right? But the other thing is that the light on the controller is then pointed down. And my camera is up high, and so it loses tracking a lot more with the. I wish that they would tilt it back just a little bit.
Tilt it up when you're in there and reset your thing. It'll reset it to that point.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
Oh
shit!
There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. So wait. How do you do it? So you tilt it up. Tilt it up.
Hold it the area that you want to hold it, then hit your options button to reset it.
Okay.
And it will set right to that. And
Oh, dude, I did not know that. Okay, that's a huge. That needs to go out. Like everybody needs to know that tip if they're playing a DualShock 4. Though.
Yeah, man.
All right.
One more feature about the Blood that I wanted to mention was one more feature. What about the 50-player interaction with the app? Did you have people on your streams doing that?
I didn't have the app or anything like that. And
I had Dave in
I played for an hour, and I don't know. I just didn't find it as enjoyable as others. I'm sorry.
You weren't the only one though, Lewis. I remember. Who else? Someone else said they didn't particularly. Seraphim didn't particularly get on with it.
Seraphim hated it.
Yeah, he really did.
I did not hate it. I didn't hate it. I did not. I just didn't. I guess Firewall, man. It's fucking Firewall. I'm sorry.
Yes, they are,
I
Gaggle.
swear, Lewis, this was PG until you did that.
I'm trying really hard not to swear.
I know.
I didn't know that. I didn't know. I will shut that. I will shut up.
Shut the fuck up, Lewis.
With that app, you're sitting there the majority of the time, and it just says, like, waiting for interaction. So, I mean, I thought it was kind of cool, but the majority of the time you're sitting there with that phone app, you're basically just waiting for the round to end or something like that.
Was you almost streamed, Cannon, with the developer and all that, doing it? There was loads of people.
I was on everybody's stream, hanging out, trying the phone app, trying to mess with them, trying to help them in any way I could. And, the majority of the time you're just sitting there and it says, like, waiting for interaction. So it's not like a app that keeps you engaged, really.
Yeah, it was
Another problem with that,
Dave said the same thing.
Felt like an
you
afterthought.
got the phone in your hand, and usually I'm watching a stream on my phone, so now I've got to swap over to the app and that's kind of my only problem.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's just the way I watch streams typically. So, like, now I'm
that's
going
the way
back
you
and
roll.
forth, and exactly. So it could be a little difficult trying to get that out of the way, too.
Right, who's played Torn? I have, obviously, but who else?
Briefly,
not me. Yeah,
anyone done a full playthrough of Torn? Anyone played a lot of Torn?
I played a lot of Torn, yeah.
Yeah, man. What do you think? I think personally, it's an amazing game, and I can't wait to finish it. But you tell me what you think of it, man.
I think it has. I think it's an amazing game underneath its PSVR flaws. I've heard it's
I know you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about the turning.
Well,
you've got
there's a lot of things I'm going to talk about. I mean, I've heard that on. I heard on PCVR. On PCVR, the reviewers are saying that it's one of the best looking games on PCVR. On PlayStation VR, it's a jagged mess. Like, it needs pro support, even though the Sony site says it's pro enhanced. I don't believe it because it's pretty bad. But the more you're in the game, the more you kind of get caught up in the magic and stuff because it's a gorgeous game underneath all of its jagged edges. But I think the developer, and this is kind of funny having the Electric Hat guys games in here because they did so many things right. This developer did so many things wrong in the control areas. It's like it feels like a VR game from 2 years ago. It's like click turning only, no reverse button. So like if you're at a wall, you gotta click turn around, and you gotta walk back around, and then you gotta go walk back up to the door, and it's just and really slow walking speeds. Like Robinson the Journey looks fast, and so it's like it has these like fundamental flaws, but the game itself sounds amazing. The music is unbelievable.
the music's incredible.
The art.
The soundtrack's amazing.
The art direction. I mean, even the puzzles themselves, the tracking, the way the move works with the gravity gun, everything about the game is just so brilliant. I mean, you can tell it's written by the writer of BioShock. It's got this it has this depth to the storyline. But man, it's got some flaws. And the game crashed on me halfway through, and then it put me on the top of a roof, and I'm glitched on the top of this mansion.
That's so weird. Like when I played it, I had some jaggies, but I always find in PSVR there seems to be a balance. If you have jaggies, then you get a bit more increased sharpness. If you get rid of those jaggies, like for example Firewall with the anti-aliasing, it's so smooth that you've actually got a little bit of a blur. So. I mean, there's 0 jaggies in Firewall. I don't think I've seen a game.
If anybody followed the patches for Ultra Wings, they show you exactly how that happened.
Oh yeah,
they started off jaggy, then they got sharp, then they went jaggy, then they went blurry, and then they brought it back to when it was sharp again.
They really explored pro features to make the game. But yeah, for me, Torn, I thought it was beautiful, and the only issue I found, you're right, was quick turning and the fact that when you had the wand. The same to turn left, you're holding the move button, but you're trying to roll your thumb onto square to turn. But otherwise from that, dude, I absolutely loved Torn. I thought it was incredible. I thought it was really good.
So one of the, just you were talking about turning, and one of the issues we had with To the Top was I had put the turning buttons, I think it was on the top at first.
I remember.
And I just got, I didn't even think about it. I know, right? I got so used to never using it, because I never used it. I always used the grab turn. And I completely forgot about the top 2 turn buttons. And so when it launched, and then I saw people going, I saw a couple of comments at first, right? Like, oh, I wish it was more like how Skyrim is, because Skyrim kind of set the standard, right? And then... and I was just like, let's just wait and see what happens here. and then the feedback, I was just like, nope, we got to fix this. And then we got the opportunity to do the patch, and I was just
You've done it quick as well,
Well, that was the other thing. Like when the opportunity came up to do the patch, I was like, I'm just gonna slip this in here.
When you say the opportunity, what does that mean? What do you mean by the opportunity?
So there's
is it a time scale?
No, it's not so much that. It's just that there's like, when you're working as a developer, and then you're working with a publisher, and then you're also working with Sony, like there's not always the opportunity to just patch, like on PC I can just make changes and then just upload it and then it's out there, right? On Sony you make changes and it goes through their FQA, and then it has to be approved, which is all great stuff because it's curated like it should be.
We're going all up after this.
But there's there's interactions between the developer and the publisher and all this stuff that needs to happen. And the publisher has to we want to go ahead and spend the time and resources to go ahead and do that.
We already did the To the Top talk, and we're trying
basically
to stick
that's what happened
to the game.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Sorry.
No, that's cool, man. So the next game to talk about is Catch and Release.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, man. What a game. So,
psyched on fishing.
who has... Go on, Cannon. You play Catch and Release?
Yeah, man. I actually just tried it earlier. Absolutely loved it, man. As someone who grew up like fishing and knows a lot about fishing in general, it was definitely nice to have that finally in VR, and just to be able to go out there. They put you out in this giant lake, and you just relax and you just fish, and you got your radio, you got your bait. I was pouring beer on fish and throwing them back. I mean, there's a lot of nice surprises too. There's some animals that pop out of the woods and stuff, and it's a really relaxing, great experience.
Oh,
and
so good.
It's also on sale.
Yeah, definitely.
$9.99. I mean,
buy it on sale for sure.
I like to see the sequel, Catch and Cook.
Nice, man. So we can all agree that Catch and Release is like the best fishing game on PSVR.
Oh, not even close.
It's not the best fishing. It's one of the best simulation games.
Yeah, it's a simulation.
Yeah.
That's what impressed me the most. The developers of that, I was messing about. I was messing about doing everything, and the developers basically,
they thought of everything.
They made every turn. They thought of everything. I threw a beer.
Yeah, they thought of
and I got
everything.
fined for littering.
Yeah.
I told GT, I was like, don't throw it in the water. You're not gonna. I was like, throw it in the thing. Gotta recycle, bro.
Oh man,
It's like, these
Catch Release is so good. I'm putting out a review
like,
tonight.
They thought of everything. The way the physics work, the pole, the when you bring the bobber back in, it bounces across the water. You could skip rocks. Man, fuck
the
that.
water is amazing. The water is some of the most beautiful water I've seen in
Jimmy
VR.
said-
It has so much depth to it.
Yes.
Oh, especially when you go shallow and you can just sit there and you start watching for the fish. And I'm like, okay, I'm casting right there. That's where they are. I can see them, and I could see a big one was circling my hook, and I was like, yes, yes. And then this little shit came in and grabbed my hook. I was like, dude, he was right there. You
need better bait, man. You need better bait.
I saw a deer. I was like, oh my god!
I saw a deer.
Oh my god! I was like, oh my god, it's a deer! I did. I saw a
moose, man. I saw a moose.
Saw the moose. I saw the deer. The deer was it was a beautiful little deer. It was just a beautiful little deer. I almost cried.
Right here, dude.
Can I just?
Almost cried. Jimmy, what's up?
You have no idea how long I have to get this game downloaded again.
Yeah, it was a pain in the
I just want to say thank you for helping you and Jason making this level, man. Everyone loves it. A lot of hard work
it's an
went into
amazing
this
level
for us to do this.
I want a group photo on the stage.
Yeah, man.
Whenever.
Do you know what though? Jim, if turning up right now is the best time.
We'll save you in. We'll immortalize you in here forever.
Yeah, man. Jimmy, I need to talk about Track Lab, dude, and I know you are the man to talk about it.
Yeah.
I've been watching you, dude.
It was weird because everyone tried it, and everyone jumped for Electronauts, which is a really easy pick up and play sort of game. You'll try Electronauts. You'll enjoy it because you just become a DJ within 5 seconds.
Yeah, I love Electronauts. I didn't buy Track Lab.
You're actually building the track up completely from a sample, and going through how you would normally in a normal DAW software, but it's kind of changed it. It's flipped on its side. You've got like a train track to kind of match the looping, and then you build loops up, and you can do like the DJ mixing as well. But last night I've done a stream of it and got to the grips of it, and I even worked out how to do it on a normal track. But it's amazing. It's great. It's fun.
I watched Jimmy, and honestly, I haven't seen a stream where I thought, you know what, that looks absolutely fantastic. I haven't seen all the streams, admittedly. Basically, when I saw the trailer, and I think I saw you doing it, Jimmy, if you had the music going from left to right at one stage, and I remember in the trailer...
I watched your review, Ryan.
That's the trailer I saw, and I remember thinking, my little girl's going to love this. She's going to be able to put drums here, guitar here, keyboard here. She's going to find it really easy. But then I saw either Ryan's or Dave's stations, and it looked crazy. There was bits going every... And I thought, she's never going to do that. She's never going to be able to manage that.
Go back
but I watched you. You done the Iron Man soundtrack, didn't you, last night?
I did Black Sabbath.
Awesome.
I did Black Sabbath.
It was brilliant.
Iron Man.
You can do it. It's just that you have to think about it outside the box a bit, because you're basically starting every pulse fires from a cannon, and then it starts from there, and it basically that's how your normal DAW would work. Start off, you hit start, and then everything runs along the bar. You just kind of draw it in that way. But it's easy me going, oh yeah, it's just this and that. But if people are not musically inclined, then you're just going to be like, oh, what is he actually doing? What does this mean?
That's the thing. So
but
can I?
That's where Track Lab comes. It's Electronauts is the balance for letting beginners to jump in and get used to sort of grooving with music.
Oh, my daughter who's 9 has got Electronauts, and she loved it. She's amazed by it, and the selfie cam, man, it was right. She went crazy with the selfie cam. Go on, Shug, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, Track Lab is what people think they wanted, but Electronauts is what they actually wanted, and I think people are figuring that out. I think Track Lab is a very well-made game. I think it looks really nice. I think it's got a lot of functionality, and I fucking hate it. I bought the game. I actually paid for the game. I was going to do a review on the game. I did like a 90-minute stream, and I was like, I don't even want to look at this again. My problem with the game is I don't know if anyone's seen the footage of Dreams and the way that they're going to create audio, and I think, but I think it's a perfect balance of for people who don't know what an E sharp sounds like, to be able to make music, and it's also more traditional, the way it runs along a timeline instead of everything in loops. To me, the entire Track Lab game felt like a puzzle game. I know it had puzzles in it, but the whole thing felt like a puzzle game.
It looked like a puzzle game. It looked like a puzzle game.
It's a challenge. I give you that. But I mean, I worked with some Aphex Twin in it. So if I can work at Aphex Twin in it and other...
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know you watched Jimmy do it. I actually thought, for the first, actually, I could have a go at that.
Yeah.
But before that, because I don't know the way he made it sound. He was even making the notes verbally and going, oh no, that's it, and then applying that note. It was really good.
You'll love it. You will love it.
I don't know if you guys remember, but in the chat when I was describing this, when I was describing what Track Lab's like, 90% of the people will play it for 2 hours and go, fuck this game. Sorry, censors, PG, but screw this game.
No, we've had loads already. Shot literally blew the can.
I know. Well, Lewis did. Lewis did.
Lewis started it.
And then we'll
Firewall's amazing.
Then you'll have 10% like Jimmy that do something really awesome and do like Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, and then people, the rest of the 90% will watch that and go, oh, maybe I should jump back into this game again, and then they'll just get fed up and leave it. So it'll be the 10%.
Anyone I put into Electronauts is like, this is amazing. Like they didn't even know nothing.
Yeah.
They started hitting things around, and there was like, it was over. They started mixing things, and it sounded good, and they were dancing.
I can't wait to do a party and have it on the sound system, and people just... It's going to be incredible.
Totally. Something preached.
Let me go ahead and put my 2 cents in on Track Lab's Electronauts because...
Somebody else over there?
Yeah, I see somebody.
That's me. I'm trying to fix the scene without being seen, but obviously I'm doing.
He's blended in. Thank you. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I thought it was a pretty neat game. I like the puzzle aspect of it, but when it comes to creating music, you really do the time that it takes to create stuff. And like Shug was saying, you have to make it out of like a grid, like a box. If you've ever used Fruity Loops or something, it goes more in like a wave pattern. And you know, like Jimmy, I play music too. But it's not. It's like completely different. It's essentially like trying to create it from making like a brick breaker puzzle, and so it's a little convoluted and complicated. But you can still, for some people that especially you like to make like abstract stuff, like it works. It does.
Well, I know, as I said, I saw that last night.
Electronauts, though.
It's not fun.
More than Electronauts.
Electronauts.
No, I didn't think it was. I thought the puzzle stuff, the single player puzzle stuff, was pretty fun. To create music, maybe it's just a personal thing, but to have that loop and to have that loop keep going and going and going, it was like I felt like I was going crazy. Like
no, I said too. It's like making a circuit. You're trying to complete a circuit, and it's more and more complicated and just keeps building and building, and it's like I said, unless you're musically inclined, like Jimith over here, it's overwhelming. It's too much, and you just like preach, just walk away.
It's musical programming. So I'm a programmer. I'm a web developer as well, and that tied with the challenge of I'm going to make a song and knowing what tools to use once you've unlocked them from the single player. I quite like the challenge of that, but if you're in for the quick fix, then get Electronauts.
Yeah, exactly, man. The Track Labs is what it says it is.
I just want to go back to
MTV I just thought the trailer wasn't.
Oh, man.
MTV Music Generator 2
on PlayStation.
Do that.
Yes, sir. I'm just
guys,
for now.
Something
I'll get mine one day.
Something that Preach said, and Preach, I don't know if you even said this before, but something he said in chat that was one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard said about Electronauts. Was if it was a drawing program or a painting program, every brush stroke would be the Mona Lisa. That's how Electronauts makes you feel.
Yeah, that's true though. That's true.
But that's because he's a drummer and it's percussion. A lot of it's percussion. And he's spot on that. I've watched them many hours.
It's such a good game. It's so fun to use. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, guys. So, I think that brings us to a close for the second PSVR Chat Show. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the set, man. I want to go explore the set.
High fives.
Wait, hold on one sec. We're going to make this available.
High fives.
This is going to be available.
1 minute. Guys, stop.
Hold on. Sorry, just FYI, this room is going to be open for anybody after we do this. We're going to open this up to the public so you can come in here, check it out, hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Nice.
Cool.
And also, one more thing, have we got 2 keys to give away for To The Top?
We'll do. We still have keys. We have some keys. So yeah.
I don't have any keys.
Check in the pocket.
But I can. You got the keys? Okay, all right.
Yeah, so we got 2 PSVR keys and then 2 PC keys.
Okay, so you got 1 EU and 1 NA. Is that correct?
For PSVR?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, guys. So if anyone wants a key, hold on, let me get away from this lot.
Oh, how are we going to do that?
We're gonna. The way we'd like to do it is basically whoever watched, what your favorite comment was from Richard or Dan, and what your opinion is on it. We'll choose within 24 hours, and we'll let you know. That's on anybody's. Yeah.
Wait,
on anybody's stream. Just send us the
Excellent.
information.
So at the end of this video, just leave a comment and a like, and just say what you about.
Hey guys, leave a comment in my
video.
I will be posting it.
Yeah, we're looking to reward the people that are watching the show. Not the, unfortunately, the latecomers.
I'll send the comments to them.
Might be at a loss on that one, but at least they'll be tuning in for next time. Wink,
yeah,
wink.
no worries, man. Because there will be a PSVR Chat Show 3. So anyway, thank you very much, guys. And what are we doing now? I think we're going to do a bit of Firewall, I believe, yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
Most of us.
Thank you very much, dude.
Most of us. I might have to skip out just for a little while.
Thanks for having us. It was awesome.
Oh, man, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Drop the mic. Cheers, Lewis. Thank you, guys.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was very awesome. Gamer Tag, big thanks to him. And hopefully I'll have my catch and release review out today. And I've got a few fun little videos coming up for Firewall as well. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, guys. I will catch you on my next video.